I'm Earl Stewart. I welcome you to Earl Stewart on Cars Mystery Shopping Report. Conley Buick GMC. They sell GMC trucks and Buicks in Bradenton, Florida. Earl Stewart on Cars now brings you part two, as Nancy just said, of our series from the west coast of Florida, reporting from the disaster zone of this terrible Hurricane Ian. Thousands of people on the west coast and central Florida, and now we found out even southeast Florida, are currently in desperate need of replacement vehicles. This sudden demand is hitting a new and used vehicle markets at a very unstable time in the car industry. This problem hasn't even begun to get serious, and it will get serious in the coming weeks and months. Agent Lightning paid a visit to Conley Buick GMC in Bradenton. Here's a report. I speak as if I am Agent Lightning. I walked around the lot for a few minutes, hoping to attract the attention of a salesperson. No luck. I went inside and was greeted by a young guy named Eddie. He asked what he could help me with, and I told him I was looking for a new car. Eddie apologized for me. He was working with someone else, but he'd get someone to help me. He brought Christina over and introduced me to her. Christina asked me to go with her, and I followed her to a desk. She began the process of information gathering and entered everything into a computer. I told her I wanted to get a new Encore, and she informed me she had one in the stock. She asked me, if all goes well today, would I be buying? I said, yes, ma'am. Christina was energetic personality. She jumped up and excitedly suggested we go check on my new car. We walked over to where they stored the keys and then headed out to the car. It was a new 2022 Buick Encore GX in Summit White with an MSRP of $30,780, and there was an addendum, Phony Monroney, we also call them. Conley Buick added $1,995 for the Conley Elite package. It was for 1 year paint and fabric protection, a front screen protector, red alert brake safety system. I have no idea what that is.
I know what that is. You hit the brakes and it pulses the brake light fast to get the attention of the person behind you. It's incredibly cheap. They preload them on the cars. It's a little chip thing that you just put in the wiring harness.
Yeah. Crystal Fusion. That's got to be polyclay or.
I guess so. There's already paint and fabric protection.
And door edge guards. See, all this is cheap stuff the dealers buy at surprisingly low prices and install them for incredibly low prices and charge you an incredibly insane high price. Christina covered all the features, and I was impressed, especially with the teen safety features, which I didn't know about. And Stu told me that it's something that you can limit the speed limit.
Yeah, there was a bunch of features. It was you can limit how loud they can put the audio on the radio. They can control that so they can't blare the music. You can keep them from speeding. It's kind of neat.
We went for a test drive, and Christina directed me to an old condemned mall's parking lot where she said I could go as fast as I wanted and do whatever I wanted. I drove around for a while, and then we headed back. At Christina's desk, I told her I hated all the back and forth, and she said she hated it too. Then she said, this is how we're going to do this. I'll get the price, and then we'll tell them what we want to pay.
I kind of laughed at that when I read that. She commiserated, said she hated the back and forth, said, here's how we're going to do it, and then described the back and forth.
Yeah, but I mean, but you can see where she was selling herself to Agent Light. And here, that's an interesting psychological point. Here we have a salesperson whose purpose in life is to charge as much money as they can get away with. And they're being polite and nice because they have to be, and they want to
cajole their way into a big commission.
I'd rather have a rude person that was not going to screw me than a polite person that was. But I don't want to have to make the choice between those two. So she's on my side. Christina's on my side as a mystery shopper, and we're going to go get a good price. She left to get the numbers. She was back quickly with a worksheet and new vehicle invoice so she could show me what they paid for it.
So it says the actual invoice amount on this car is $28,540, but then it says at the bottom, invoice does not reflect dealer's real cost because of manufacturer rebates, allowances, incentives, holdback, finance credit, and return to dealer of advertising monies, all of which may apply to the vehicle. So what they're saying is, as Earl said on the show for many, many years, The holdbacks, they amount to thousands of dollars. The real cost of this car is not $28,540. It's thousands below that. But listen, it doesn't really matter because they're not working a deal down there. They're way up here on MSRP plus a big package. So I didn't understand why she brought the invoice out to justify a price. Like in the old days when you were trying to justify a low price, you're being, look, I'm right above my invoice, but they're going over MSRP and now they're just showing a pretty fat markup. But it's still disguising, it's still concealing a lot of the profit though.
Well, it's very few people know that. We talk about it on the show not often enough. It is pure deception, plain and simple, to tell a customer, this is my invoice. What is an invoice? Invoice is what you pay for a product. A car dealer invoice is not what they paid for the product. It's total deception, and thousands of dollars are packed into the supposed cost, and that is profit to the dealer. It's a, what is the word? It's a joint deception of the manufacturer with the dealer. The General Motors, Toyota, Ford, Honda are in a conspiracy with the dealers to trick the customers into thinking this is what they pay for the car. In normal times, most of our cars were sold below invoice. So obviously the invoice couldn't be our cost because we sell most of our cars, can't sell most of your cars below our true cost. So below invoice and below cost are two different things. The top line market value selling price was $30,780 MSRP. Then they added the Conley Elite Protection Package for $1,995. Then $653 in taxable fees. Taxable fees is another name for hidden fee. The fact that they say fee is the giveaway. Fee is to trick you into thinking it's a government fee. It's not. It's profit to the dealer. And here's another fee. Doc fee, dealer doc fee, $799. So there between those two, you got $1,453 in hidden fees. Then you add that to the $1,995, and you're talking $3,447 in junk fees added to the MSRP, making the real price $34,227. Now, let me say this. The dealer addendum is not as egregious a violation as a hidden fee. The addendum is at least it's on the window. It's for BS, low-cost products that are way overpriced, but at least it's on the window. The hidden fees are not on the window, and the hidden fees are disguised to think that they're not profit. At least you know the addendum is added to the price. You don't think of the junk fees or the hidden fees as being added to the price, and that's why they're illegal. And we talked earlier, Florida Statute 501.976, violation of Florida law and almost every other law in every other state. I said that was more than I wanted to spend. I said I haven't factored in all those fees and add-ons. Christina asked me to tell her what the out-the-door number was I wanted to be right now. I said no more than $34,000. Christina wrote down $34,500, back to the game, right? And asked, if give me there, will you buy it? I said I would need to check with my husband. She hopped up, said she'd be right back, and she left. She returned in a few minutes, pulled the invoice on the desk towards her, and underlined the part that read, friendly Chevy Buick, okay? It said there was a slight problem, and that was they had already purchased this vehicle. So there was really no wiggle room. I said thanks and stood up to leave. Christina looked desperate, asked me to wait so I could meet her manager. They always want you to meet the manager. He came over anyway before I could say no. And the manager asked me if I would take the car if he got me to $35,000 out the door. I said I didn't think so. I said no one left. So there we are. We'll see what the voters think.
C minus.
I'm calling it a D as well.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give them an F.
D minus, I agree. I almost want to fail them. You know, the contrast is so great, I want to fail them. Hi, this is Earl Stewart. Thank you for watching this video. If you would like to be notified of new videos that we post to our YouTube channel, simply click on the subscribe button and the bell icon in the lower right-hand side of the screen.